the context for which you discuss being in a digital nomad is on one hand, it's appropriate because it's 2020 and that's what a lot of people do, or more people do. But two,
Mhm.
it's, the year of the pandemic, and we're getting a second wave of it in the US. And my state of Minnesota just yesterday announced lockdown or shutdowns, not lockdown, but shutdowns of no more restaurants, no more gyms.
Mm,
I think that also goes for bars and coffee shops. And so
yeah.
I was in my gym yesterday and I was talking to the owner, and, people are not happy, obviously, with anything. Whether you think they're good or not, no one's happy about it. So to hear someone say, "Oh, I just went to Bali," it's like, oh my gosh. Plus, I hadn't caught up with you about your time in China yet.
I'm just blown away by how that country functions. Like the way I've seen how COVID is being contained and controlled in China,
Yeah.
it's just incredible. Even if I were to tell my US friends about it, it's hard to like execute in any other country outside of China, truly. So in China right now, well, maybe like 2 months ago, if you were to enter China,
Hmm.
well, first of all, if you're able to get a visa somehow to enter China, as soon as you land, you go through immigration, right? But after you exit, they put you on a bus. You have no idea what hotel you're going to, but they just take you there. And even if you're traveling with a partner or your family, you guys are staying in separate rooms.
Yeah.
And that's where you'll live for 14 days.
Yeah.
And every morning at 6 or 7 a.m., they come knock on your door, they take your temperature, do the COVID test, they drop you off your breakfast. You have no choice what you're eating. And then around noon, you get your lunch. Around dinner, you get your dinner. So you do that for 14 days. So, I mean, it's definitely, the depends on how you look at it, but that's how it has been. And it's worked
Yeah.
because they have caught a lot of
Yeah.
people that were positive. I feel like what surprised me most, because when I first moved there, I had a lot of questions like, oh, what about free speech? What about
Mm.
like, security and all of these type of questions. But the answers that I keep getting from my local friends were that, well, would you rather have the government have it or a big corporation? And their sense of trust in their own government is just really impressive. And it kind of helped me look at the situation from a different angle.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I don't know if I fully agree with everything, um,
Mm.
that's happening there, but at the same time, it's like at least I'm open to seeing it from their perspective. But also, granted, like I said, it was a very privileged bubble, so
Yeah.
take
Until
it.
we live in a utopia, there is that trade-off.
Yes.
When you left things in Shanghai, were things still locked down or were they pretty much wide open?
No, they've been like open for months. Like I feel like people already forgot what COVID was.
Oh
Like
my God.
everything was
And what about and what about well but was Shanghai like Wuhan in that it was total lockdown? Like you couldn't
yeah.
leave your apartment?
So a fun example I can give is during Chinese New Year, so the end of January, early February, I ended up taking time off to go to Thailand, because Chinese New Year is kind of like you get like a whole week off, right? Um, so I went to Thailand and I came back. I wasn't able to enter my community, like my little complex compound,
Hmm.
because since I've been gone, the regulations have changed. You now need a certificate to prove that you live inside, and you need to show it every time you enter or exit the compound. So because I was traveling, I didn't have a proof of the certificate. I needed to go to the police station around the corner to register.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then with that, um, yeah, like the whole place was locked down. Like literally, the whole streets were closed. Nothing was open, and the few places that were open, you needed to take temperature, like entering and exiting. Um, when you get deliveries, it used to be able to deliver directly to your door, but now you have to walk to the gate to get it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
but
Uh, and
to
how long,
answer,
and how long
yeah.
was it like that?
So I lived that way for like 3 months, and then like everything slowly reopened. with the exception of travel, of course.
So I
Just
don't,
be careful.
honestly, that's kind of how I see COVID now. Like, um, I get it. Like I've heard the stories and they're bad. Uh, but life's about minimizing risk. And is the risk of COVID worth the price of what some are asking us to pay? And
Hmm.
I wasn't gonna avoid Tanzania because of the risk of malaria. And so what am I not going to avoid, or what will I avoid? Like if you have a 1% chance of getting malaria, will you avoid Tanzania? If you have a 10% chance of getting malaria, you're going to avoid Tanzania. Yeah, then I probably would. Right. So
But this
it's
is
like,
like that's curable, and so far this is not.
what, COVID?
Yeah,
Well, that's
like
all
we don't have a
unknown, but
vaccine yet.
yeah, we don't have to debate that. The vast majority of people seem to get it and get over it, and it's okay. So it
No,
seems,
totally. I was talking to my friend. Of course, my friends all have very different opinions about COVID. Some of them are truly afraid, but some of them are kind of like, oh, I feel like it's just a flu with better marketing. Like, but at the same time, I
it's
mean, I don't know. I kind
strange.
of feel, yeah,
It would be a lot easier if it was more consistent. Like if it was consistently mild, medium, or severe, then we would know what to do. But because it seems to affect people differently, uh,
yeah,
so much that it is sort of like Russian roulette. Only it's not. You know the game Russian roulette.
yeah.
So take a six bullets or a six shooter. Put one bullet in there, spin it, shut it, pull the trigger. I never thought I'd be doing this in this interview. And then if you're unlucky, the 1 in 6 chance the bullets were, in the chamber, then you die. Um,
Yeah, but
COVID's
that's
not that. It's like a 1 in a thousand chance that you're going to be one that has a lethal reaction to it. But
but then another thing is like the
if you're young and healthy,
contagion,
if you're young,
how how contagious it is. Like,
how contagious
I
is
mean,
COVID? I
like
have no idea.
very.
People don't. Is it?
Yeah,
It is very contagious. I don't know how contagious. I don't know if anyone really knows. I mean, they said at first that you have to, that it could survive on surfaces, and then they said it can't, and no one knows much about it. That's the problem. So I understand taking caution, but I think we know enough now to know that it's not walking out on thin ice, right?
yeah.
It's not walking out on thin ice. It's walking out on ice that's pretty strong. Good break, but it's pretty strong. How it's just one of those things that you risk. And some people are at more risk than others, so you have to appreciate that and not being considerate of others.